Medina Spirit went from one of the great underdog stories in Kentucky Derby history to possibly the horse that brings down one of the greatest trainers in history, Bob Baffert. He announced on Sunday that his 2021 Derby winner tested positive for elevated levels of an anti-inflammatory medication. He's disputing the claim. We'll see what happens after horse racing authorities investigate further. For the casual racing fan and the average sports fan, it's not hard to imagine cheating. It's hard to imagine somebody getting caught. Ever since the steroid eras in sports like baseball, track, and cycling, I think it seems like most sports cleaned up their act, or it feels like that, or they're one step ahead of the testers, because we don't hear about too many PED scandals, or we just don't pay attention to those anymore. Horse racing's history with doping goes back longer than probably any other sport. So it's hard to think that in 2021, someone like Bob Baffert, a Hall of Famer, one of the great trainers of all time, probably the Bill Belichick to horse racing, would be sloppy enough to get caught. But with everything that goes on with these horses these days, it's not hard to believe lines were crossed, possibly serious mistakes were made. We hope to talk to Bob Baffert. Fritzy reached out to him. He's on the East Coast, and we'll see if his schedule fits into our time frame over the next 3 hours. And it's not an illegal drug. It's just the time frame of when you're tested, and that has to be out of your body, an anti-inflammatory. And another thing to keep in mind, which we don't understand, and I want to ask Pat Forty, he covers this sport. They test these horses 14 days before the races. Why don't you test them on the day of the race? Then you can clear them to run in the race. I mean, NASCAR has a pre-race inspection. I don't know if they do that in the Kentucky Derby or the Belmont or the Preakness. Was the horse cleared to race? That's what I'd be curious about. How long does it take to get out of your system? Is it 14 days? Get out of your system? How about we test you before we allow you to race? You run the risk of the cost of getting your horse there, but that seems like a logical approach here. We're going to test you before your horse races, and might be a scratch.